Good morning. Wong asked me to give a talk today with an overview of the chapter we're going to be studying this year called Doctrine. And I want to give you an overview of where Doctrine fits in. So the Scriptures of Won Buddhism is divided into two books. The first book, the principal book of Won Buddhism, is the kind of ground level teachings of the master and his disciples about the basics, the everyday practice of Won Buddhism, how to do it and what it means. And then the second book, the scripture of the founding master, is actually a collection of teachings that have been edited by topic. So this particular chapter is called Doctrine, and as I read it, I realized that even though I had read it many times before, reading it to get an overview, I could see that this chapter was a sort of 10 feet up view of our teachings, and in that way is very informative. In fact, I often think that this would be a good start for anyone coming to Won Buddhism to read this chapter first, because it explains things in a way that differentiates Won Buddhism from other Asian traditions and other Buddhist traditions, but in a way that also highlights the meanings and special nature of Won Buddhism. So in this chapter, we hear about how Won Buddhism is, the motto of Won Buddhism is to create a world where we take advantage of material cultivation, but also spiritual cultivation to balance those. And so that's in this chapter. But also, why do we enshrine HyoungSan, the circle image, versus a Buddha image? It's described in this chapter. And also, another aspect of this chapter is it's somewhat outward-facing. So it's as if Master Sotae-san is writing this not only for the practitioners, definitely is, but also how we would explain ourselves to the world. So Wong asked me to not only give you this overview, but also to pick some passages that would it appealed to me and might demonstrate some of these things to you. So the first one I'm going to read you is 29. The founding master asked the congregation at a meditation hall, if someone were to ask you, what are you learning here? How would you answer? A member of the congregation said, I would answer that we're learning the three great powers. Another member said, I would answer that we're learning the essential way of human life. After hearing conflicting answers from several other people, the founding master said, although all your answers are applicable, I will elaborate a bit. So listen carefully. As a rule, whatever answer one gives should be appropriate to the questioner's character and attitude at the time. But to answer in general terms, I would say that I am teaching about the Dharma of the mind's functioning. To answer more specifically, I teach the knowledgeable how to use knowledge, the powerful how to use power, the wealthy how to use wealth, the resentful how to live a life of gratitude, those who lack merit how to make merit, those who live a life dependent on other power to rely on self-power, those reluctant to learn how to learn, those reluctant to teach how to teach, those lacking public spirit how to be motivated to have public spirit. In brief, I teach others to make the most of all their talents, material wealth, and surroundings in accordance with the right way. So you can see in this passage it's outward-facing, but also expresses the breadth and depth of the Won Buddhist vision of where we fit into the world and what we're trying to accomplish in our teachings. I wanted to read you something about the relationship between HyoungSan and Śākyamuni Buddha. The person asked, "What is the relationship between HyoungSan and Śākyamuni Buddha?" The founding master answered, "Ilwan is the source of all truth, and Śākyamuni Buddha is the teacher who awakened to that truth and then taught it to us. Even though this world may have wonderful truth, that truth will be of no use to us if there were not a person who discovered and taught it. Even if Śākyamuni Buddha had come to this world, if there was not this truth of HyoungSan, he could not have become Śākyamuni Buddha and would have no material to teach for 49 years. Thus we designate HyoungSan, the Dharmakaya Buddha, as the symbol of truth, and Śākyamuni Buddha as our foundational teacher, and worship together the Dharmakaya Tathagata and the Rupakaya Tathagata. However, this is an explanation that is given from the perspective of the distinction between HyoungSan and Śākyamuni Buddha. From the perspective of the truth that is beyond all distinctions, you must understand the indivisibility of HyoungSan and Śākyamuni Buddha." So, if it's not obvious, Master Śākyamuni is saying that HyoungSan is the truth of the universe. It's the truth that can't be expressed in words except by a great teacher, and if it hadn't been there to start with, Śākyamuni Buddha, who was our great first teacher, wouldn't have been able to find it and speak it. So here's my little obsessive concern. So he was talking about, there was a talk between one of the members and Master Śākyamuni about HyoungSan and how we understand it and how we make use of it. And the member asked, "Then are such truths, awesome powers, and methods of practice contained in the shape of the HyoungSan diagram itself?" The founding master replied, "That circular image is a model for teaching the true Ilwan. It's like pointing at the moon with your finger. Your finger is not the real moon. In the same way, a practitioner must discover the true Ilwan through the model of HyoungSan. Guard Ilwan's true nature and practice Ilwan's perfect mind. Then the truth of HyoungSan in our lives will mesh perfectly." So why did I pick this out? I sometimes think people focus on the symbol of the circle as if that is Ilwan, as if that is what we're trying to find, a circle. But HyoungSan is a circle that we can see and it is a symbol. Ilwan is a circle with an infinite diameter. Everything is a part of Ilwan. And Ilwan is outside and inside of us. And so I think it's, I'm glad we have enshrined HyoungSan. It gives us something that is both concrete and symbolic that we can use to understand our practice and our vision. But I think it's really important to realize HyoungSan is a symbol and Ilwan is the universe. So thank you very much for listening to me.